As Brian said, I did serve 8 years on the Board of Education. A little bit about my background. I have graduated from UT with a degree in finance and spent 27 plus years of my life as a bank executive. During that time, I worked on affordable housing issues as a banker, micro lending and small business lending, dealt with developers making loans, did home mortgages. So I really think that breadth of experience will really help me on city council because we deal with all those issues on city council. I took a little break from my banking career, and in 2000, I became the executive director of 9 Counties, One Vision, if any of you are old enough to remember that and lived here then. I feel very old when I think about that because my children were 5 and 7 and now they're 25 and 27. And I'm not sure how 20 years has passed because it doesn't feel like it to me. But one of the things that I learned through that process is that creating a vision or a sense of what people want out of their community is very helpful for elected officials making decisions, private citizens deciding about businesses and what they want to do. It really helps if we kind of have an idea of what we want to be as a city. So one of the things I would hope to do if I'm on council can't make that happen. But as a council person, you hope to have influence with the mayor, whoever is mayor, and suggest that, I'm not saying a big, huge process like that again, but really work toward the city of Knoxville having a more shared vision of what we want to be like, what our neighborhoods want to be like, where we want development, where we don't, and then it just makes a lot of decisions easier. I went back to banking after that, and 3 years ago I left banking, I hope for good. Not that it wasn't a good living, but I'm now the Chief Executive Officer of the Girl Scouts of Southern Appalachians from Abington, Virginia to Dalton, Georgia, and that's a lot more fun. It's really nice to use this business knowledge, financial background, and work for a mission-driven organization to create the next generation of women leaders and in our community. So I say all that to tell you that's my background, and I hope to bring all those perspectives to the table as an elected official on city council. Having done a little bit about housing, business, and education, I really understand the importance of how all that ties together to make a city great. The city of Knoxville does not have direct impact on the school budget or on school priorities, but relationships are what get things done, and understanding that the strength of a neighborhood school is directly tied to the strength of the neighborhood and vice versa. And so I would really hope that we have some more communication about that. I used the example when I first got on the Board of Education. There was talk about closing the South Knox Elementary School because it was underutilized. Well, look at us now. You know, all that time the city was thinking about wanting to redevelop South Knoxville, but that wasn't being communicated to the Board of Education, and we could have closed that school, and what a mess we would have been in. So I mean, that's one of the things that I'm passionate about. But at another forum, I would ask, what were the 2 things I would like, or what's the one thing, or a couple of things you'd like to accomplish in a first term? One of the things I'd really like to accomplish in a first term, other than a shared strategic plan or vision for the city, is working specifically to provide a better economic plan to spur development outside of the center city. So down the Magnolia Avenue corridor toward Burlington, and out Chapman Highway, and out Broadway, and even down Kingston Pike. Because one of the things I know as a banker is if you buy a building and it costs $150,000, and then you have to put another $60,000 in it to renovate it, it will not appraise, and you can't get a loan for it. So how are we going to help people who want to make private investment to rehab buildings to help improve what we say we want is development and more services for people in the city? We've got to figure a way out. So TIFs and pilots are something that the city has used on large projects. Will they work? Or do you work on finding alternative sources of revenue to do some deferred payment loans? That's in the weeds, but that's how I'm thinking. So, trying to, because economic development drives everything in our community. Government only has one source of revenue, taxes. And I would prefer taxes to go up through more development and increased sales than increasing property taxes. So that would be why I want to run, so.